Alright, hello guys, this is Lowtech Gaming here. So, we're playing Infinity Battlescape here, and this is going to be like a little improv tutorial on how to play the game. As, what is it? Everyone's basically asking the chat, oh, how do you play this game? What do you do? And this is just like a brief tutorial on how to genuinely play the game and get to a battle. Alright, so you start off choosing a faction. I've already chosen mine. And then we have all these spawn points over here. You have stations, and then you have planetary bases. Planetary bases are on the surface, while stations are in orbit. Generally speaking, it's probably better to start in orbit, just because of the fact that it's easier to get from one location to another if it's in space. And generally you only want to go to a facility if it's like under attack, in my opinion. So these red bases over here belong to the enemy. As you can see, like they have complete control over this this planet over here. Currently, my faction is contested over a giant gas giant over here, as well as this planet over here. What's the other one? Cinder seems to be contested. Oh, that's a giant battle. And this one is generally under our control as well, though the enemy's launching attacks to get into the system. So when you initially spawn in, you kind of want to go away from the battle. So we'll spawn in at this location over here. You want to go ahead and choose your ship. There are several different types of ships we can choose. Start off with the Interceptor. So the Interceptor is basically your general purpose fighter. It's designed to kill other interceptors and bombers, though if you are really good... Oh, we destroyed an objective. Awesome. But if you are really good, you can take out even up to like corvettes. But mostly this is against the AI and against incompetent players, really. Bombers are generally good at supporting supporting ships in the destruction of basically almost everything. So they have a lot of anti-fighter missiles that they can use against interceptors, as well as they're kind of okay against corvettes. So it's just that torpedoes and standard missiles don't really do much to corvettes. They're in like that middle ground because torpedoes can't really lock onto them quite well. However, if you do get a hit, you can definitely take out a corvette. But then they're really good against destroying destroyers, cruisers, and carriers, because torpedoes just kill all these larger ships. So it's kind of good to have in a fleet or so, and it doesn't cost that much, which is nice. You have corvettes. Corvettes are like supporting craft. They have a good amount of anti-fighter weaponry and whatnot. It can kind of support the larger ships and smaller ships by giving them more ammunition. And it's generally good to have quite a bit of them, as they do help out in when attacking an enemy or so. If you run out of ammo, definitely find a corvette, as it can help you out. Destroyers are kind of like the low-end capital ship. They have really powerful mines, and they also have the ability to prevent ships from warping away, so they can be really good at stopping retreating vessels. But if they go up against a cruiser, they're going to die. Essentially, that's just... Unless like they like go kamikaze and try to get their mines off or so, but in a long-range fight, the destroyer just gets killed. That's why I kind of don't use it that much, but it's still a very useful weapon. It's just like it has a little higher learning curve. You have the cruiser, which is the default kind of like battleship in the game. It is pretty much good at killing everything, so it can kill fighters very easily with its not only with its point defense cannons, but also with its anti-fighter missiles, which it has like over 100 of. So even if you're like missing, it doesn't really matter, as like you can just spam out so many of them to kill enemy fighters. And then it has a huge array of torpedoes and heavy batteries, which are very effective at just tearing up stations and other cruisers. And then next you have the carrier. It's like blaring music. I'm gonna put my headphones down here. The carrier is basically a straight-up support craft. It is designed around providing a spawn point for fighters and, well, interceptors and bombers. It has some light batteries, but in general, if it comes across a cruiser, the cruiser's just going to absolutely murder the carrier. The carrier should never be in the middle of a fight. In fact, it should be at least like several kilometers away, just acting as a forward spawning base for assaults. And yeah, that's all the ships here. I'm gonna start with the interceptor here and just show you general navigation here. So we've already chosen our spawn point. Our spawn point is under. Okay, we're gonna choose a different spawn point. Yeah, so we're gonna spawn here instead. So you generally just have to click on a location and it just sets it as your spawn point. So generally ships cost credits over here. I have 521. So if I wanted to, I could go all the way up to a destroyer, but for the sake of the tutorial, I'm just going to take out a interceptor here. It's going to be the fighter that you guys start off with, and it's generally very maneuverable. So it costs 20 resources, so it takes 20 credits away from me. So I push spawn, and it's going to spawn me in the hangar. So this is the hangar. So you can hold down the left control button. I haven't changed any of the key bindings, so you can literally just try these out right now. So if you like playing the game as well, you're just listening to this. You hold down control to look around. Generally, okay, so the all button is going to push you upwards, the F button is going to put you downwards. To rotate, so if I go upwards a little bit and hold Q, it will spin you around to the left. You hold E, it will spin you around to the right. Okay, and to just bank left and right, you hold down A and D, and then to accelerate and decelerate, you push W, and you push S. So we're going to accelerate out of the launch bay. Okay, so now we're into space over here. So generally the interceptor is actually very maneuverable. You can see our little station over here. Now, actually, should I go into I'll go into docking now, because I just want to make it an all-purpose tutorial. So you see this over here? This is a fighter launch bay. So for things like the, let's see, I can, like, if you push the tab button on your left side, you go ahead and go back to the main menu or so, where you can either eject from your craft, you can go back to the star map and see where everyone's fighting, look at team stats, I'm actually pretty high. Then you can look at the missions, well, the general battles are with huge amounts of AI. So, so that's how you go back to the main menu. So if you remember all those classes, they all have different hangars for the most part. You see this hangar over here with the 6 launch bays. You can make it out over here. This is what we just launched from. So fighters and bombers need to launch from this point over here. Yep, they have to go. They launch from this hangar over here, and then they have to go back and resupply. So, for example, if I fire off a couple of shots or so, so now I have. Hopefully, that's not coming towards me. That would be my tutorial. So you see how I have. If you look at the top left of the screen, you can see the ammunition count. I have 2470 ammunition. All right. So let's say that I just used a bunch of ammunition. And I even damaged myself. All you want to do to dock is you just want to go in. You see that little circle over there? That shows like your heading essentially, and it changes based off of how much acceleration you have, because you have all 4 motions in Newton phys. I don't know how to pronounce it. You basically have the ability to just rotate and move in any direction. So you see here, we're in the launch bay over here. The thing is green, and my ammunition is going up. As well as if I had taken damage, I would have gotten repaired as well. Oh, there's a guy over here. Let's just finish up the docking very quickly. Well, can we kill? I think he's still there. Okay, let's do some dogfighting. Let's see. So I'm switching up my formation using my B button. I'm gonna go into matching speed. I've locked on my missiles. Launching some missiles at him. It looks like he's a bomber. I'm going to go ahead and try and engage. I'm using the left space bar to kind of boost in with him. He's launching a blade torpedo at me. I'm going to try and take down his shields first. That's a lot of missiles. Like, this isn't just me. He spawned literally where, like, half our team is. Switching to my main guns. Launching some flares. Alright, he's dead. I'm still alive. That torpedo exploded right next to me, and that's what caused that explosion. Holy. I'm, like, launching all my flares, hoping I survive. Oh, those missiles are looping around, damn it. Gonna try and get away. I'm trying to shoot the bloody missiles so I don't die here. I've never actually I pulled this off on like mines, but never missiles. Like they're like, ah, god, I'm gonna die here. I need like more energy, and I don't have it. I'll try to accelerate to the station, try to get away. This is more exciting than I was hoping it was going to be. Oh, fudge. If I get to the station, I can use it as like a little shield. I have to be fast. Oh, fudge. I died. Yeah, as you can see, missiles are really, they'll just follow you until the end. So we're going to spawn again. At least he died. Alright. Whoa, boy. This was more exciting than I thought it was going to be. Alright, so, yeah, that's the final docking bay. Let's see if we can find... Yeah, so this docking bay over here. It's going to be such a bad tutorial. So it's like this docking bay over here is for the corvettes, essentially. They need to dock over here in this medium docking bay. And then capital ships like the carrier, like you just saw right there, the destroyer just spawned in. That's where they spawn in, and that's where they have to go to resupply and repair themselves. So it's like very, very simple where you have to go. So some stations, I mean, like they all have different layouts. Like this one's kind of a little bit more obvious or so. While the biggest thing is getting the fighter and the corvette spawns mixed up, because they both look very similar. So you have to kind of look like, yeah, like they look so similar on the outside, which is a problem. But you can always just go ahead and just like pop out of one and go into the other. So. And yeah, so that is basically how you dock, what docking ports to look out for. Let's get into warp travel. Alright, so warp travel is actually very simple. Oh, actually, before we go into that, let me just go over something else as well. Okay, so F1, F2, and F3 are very important buttons. So F1 allows you to switch out from the cockpit view to just like an overall HUD view. It can be very useful for getting a wider view of the battlefield, even though the cockpit is actually very nicely designed to the point where you have very good visibility of everything. F2 just switches you out of the first person to the third person camera, allows for you to get a better look at your ship. You can hold down left control to go ahead and look around and look at your nice sexy ship. Looks really nice. And you can still move around here. It's just that you don't have access to the HUD, so you, I don't know. I feel like it's lacking in terms of, like, I guess you could navigate like this, but overall, you can't look at your speed or anything. You can't look at your shields or your hull, so it's not good to stay in this view when you're in battle because you're missing out on a lot of information. You also don't know how much ammunition you have, which is very important as well. Okay, so F3 changes the HUD level, so you can just go ahead and remove everything if you just want to get those sweet, sweet screenshots. You can go ahead, and I don't know what the difference is between the combat and the automatic. That's something I need to look into, because from what I can tell, there's not really much of a difference. Like, this guy probably doesn't even know how to move his ship or something. So if I was him, I would switch to F4. So you have all these different like movement schemes. You have target, you have direct, well, the ship moves directly with the ship. You have the capital ship, well, it's better for using I'll probably go into this later when I go under capital ships. I'm probably going to make something separate. What the hell are they doing? Because those are players. Everyone who has a name over them is like a player. Really? Anyway. And then you have automatic. Automatic is really, really nice. So target is also really nice as well. So target makes it so it just moves towards the direction of the mouse. I think the difference between that and... Actually, I don't know what the difference between that and automatic. I think automatic just has the best field for me, so it just reminds me a lot of War Thunder, so... Target seems to be a little more hazy for me, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I feel like they're both kind of the same. I would have to look into the subtleties, but they are basically the same thing. And, yeah, just in general, when you're using fighters, bombers, you just want to go ahead and use, yeah, just target, direct, or automatic. It's only when like you're using destroyers, corvettes, carriers, and cruisers that you want to use the capital ship screen, because this is basically just meant for capital ships, because you just want to go ahead and use the, if you use the first the numbers or so, like you can actually just find all this over here, but if you use numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all the way up to 0, you can change your acceleration, and then you can just use your WASD keys to change your movement. Like, this is not good for dogfighting at all, but for like capital ships, when you have turns that you can actually move around in this feature, it's actually very useful. Alright, so we'll switch back to automatic, and let's just go to basic navigation here. So let's say I want to go to another station. Let's choose something close. Yeah, we'll choose this one over here. So what you want to do is go ahead and just select as a HUD target. You go ahead and select it. Alright, so you can see it over here on the bottom, a little like 3D map screen. If you don't know how to navigate this, I mean I do because I've just played so much Elite Dangerous. If it is above you, there's a line moving upwards. That means the target is upwards. If it's below, then that means it is below you. You kind of just want to move it towards like it's centered. So that is the station over there. It is 47.1 megamiles away. Now we could always just go ahead, because like this is all like within like, I don't feel like there are any instances here. So if you wanted, you could always just go ahead and just slowly move there at 350 meters per second. You'd get there eventually, but the match would be way over essentially. It'd probably take like at least like a couple of hours or something. So what you want to do is instead push J and go into warp. Warp can only be done if you go over a certain speed in most ships, so you can't go from a stall to warp travel. And now we're in warp. You can see that we are going much more faster than we were, so we're going at least like over 20 kilometers per second, which is insane. If I switch over back to the third person view, you can see that station we're at, it is truly and well gone, which is awesome. Alright, so generally you don't really have to do much in warp essentially in terms of changing your speed. Now there is an extreme tactic you can use to try and get there faster, because the speed will be dependent entirely on how close you are to a planetary body. However, unlike Elite Dangerous, it's my only reference here, you can change your warp speed or so you can actually go ahead and accelerate it. The important thing is that you always make sure you keep an eye on the station's distance as well as your speed, because you don't want to overshoot it. So you always saw the warning where we have a chance of overtaking the or overshooting the station. So you have to be very careful when doing this, but if you are very careful, you can get to the station much faster. But in general, if you don't want to risk that, you can always just go ahead and just let the ship take you there. Just make sure you keep it in your sights. And then as we get closer to the station, we're going to start to slow down. The station is going to come into view. Just like so. And we're going to slow down even more so. And we can push J whenever we want, and we can jump out. It's always a good idea to have it where like you have at least your thumb on J, so you can automatically push that. And yeah, we're here at the next station. And yeah, no, I think that's generally it. How you move around, what stations to dock at, and how to go into warp, I guess. So I think the next tutorial is going to be on general combat, and then the third one I think is going to be just on like capital ships, I guess, how to use them. But yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this general video on how to navigate around and how to play the game. As always, take care, and I'll catch you guys next time.